Now, this is my first time fermenting, and I can't help wondering, will I love the taste of it, or will I find it sour and disgusting? Wait and see. Anna from the Fermented Homestead had asked if I'd like to partake in the Fermented February Collaboration this year, and I thought, why not? I've never fermented anything before, but it sounds interesting, and I love to learn a new skill. So here I am trying it for the first time. But I'm a little anxious about it because I'm not a lover of a lot of fermented foods, I have to admit. I tried kombucha, like 3 different kinds, and I really didn't like the taste. And then, of course, I also don't like wine, which is a fermented beverage, unless you add some maybe 7-Up and make a wine highball. And my husband loves sourdough bread, but I like more rustic farm loaf, something without that sour tang. So I can't help wondering, am I going through the trouble of fermenting something? Will I really like it? Gotta remind you though, it's only 3 days away from the big Fermented February giveaway on Anna's Fermented Homestead channel. She will be live at 7 Central Time and doing a live stream to give away a lot of fantastic gifts, be it books and products, kit like this, water crock. Great giveaway. And to be eligible, all you have to do, watch the various Fermented February videos and comment. And maybe you'll be lucky enough that your comment is chosen for one of the great prizes. And I have the list of the collaborators below. But even if you don't win, you still have learned something or found a fantastic fermented recipe. So it's a win-win even if you lose. Now Tiffany from the Hamakua Homestead, who is actually Anna's sister, recommended this book to me. She said it really has a lot of simple recipes. So sounded good. So I have it here, the Can It and Ferment It. And again, link below if you're interested. And let's look at what recipe I chose. It is the butternut squash recipe. Sounds good and it sounds simple. Perfect for a first timer like myself because it has only 3 ingredients other than water. It has my butternut squash, it has some salt, and it has 2 cinnamon sticks. I mean, how simple is that? I think I can do that, right? I think so. Well, we'll find out. Now, one of the reasons I'm interested in fermenting is because I'm told it's good for your gut health, right? It has a lot of probiotics in it. And with this squash here, it still maintains all the nutrients that are in the raw squash, including vitamin A and C. And it becomes, because of the fermentation, in a way that our body is more able to digest and absorb. So, sounds good, but I just hope it tastes good too. We're going to do the hardest part of this recipe, other than waiting, and that is to peel our squash. Just want to cut off the ends, and we'll do the same on this side. There we go. And now I think it's easier if you cut it in 2 again. You can use a vegetable peeler or a knife and just cut off all the sides. Whatever you wish to get the job done. Next, I dice slices for cutting into small cubes, and we're going to need 3½ cups for this recipe. Now we're just going to pack the squash cubes in the jar. Kind of ram them down. And then jam in the cinnamon stick on either side. Now we're just going to dissolve 1 tablespoon of salt into 2 cups of water. But you have to be careful what salt you use and what water you use. For the salt, it should not be iodized salt because that can have anti-caking ingredients which can interfere with the fermentation process. So you just want kosher salt, sea salt, pickling salt. And what about the water? Well, you can use tap water, but if you live in the city and your water is chlorinated, then that isn't advised because the chlorine in your water can also prohibit fermentation. So just use distilled water or filtered water. Now, I am using my tap water because I don't live in the city and I have a well. So hopefully that will be fine. I had bought this kit over 4 years ago. It's called Mason Tops. Yeah, over 4 years ago. Talk about procrastination. But as I said, I have been hesitant to try fermenting. So that's why this collaboration is a great idea. Now I'm adding the glass weight. Can't help but wonder if I should have put in just a little less squash in the jar. Attaching the silicone nipple lid and then just my canning ring. And now we wait. But if you don't have these great little fermenting doodads, you can just use your mason jar. You know, we're using a quart mason jar, and use a smooth, clean stone for the weight, and put cheesecloth or a clean cloth on top with a rubber band around, and it is just fine. Now I'm putting it in my pantry closet and keeping it in the dark, and I'm going to check on it each day. But now I have to wait. Now, according to the book, you can sample it as soon as 3 days. But I had read online that if you wait a week, it gets more tender and tastes like melon. And I love melon. I'm thinking it's muskmelon, but I could be wrong because of the color orange. But I decided to wait 1 whole week. Oh, and what about that leftover butternut squash I have? Well, I am making a recipe that my youngest son and I just love, which is fried butternut squash. Gets nice and crispy on the outside and creamy on the inside. So it's been 24 hours later. The cinnamon sticks have expanded, but everything else looks fine. 48 hours later, and there are little tiny bubbles on the cinnamon sticks. But one side of the silicone lid is bulging. Again, we have bubbles, bubbles, bubbles. And you can still see this side is a little bit inflated, but I did kind of burp it just a little. Can you see the opening there that comes? And a little water came out. So, anyway, looking fine. So, the rest of the days until day 7, the jar looked relatively the same. So now it's time for the big unveiling and reckoning day. I'm going to have to do my taste test. We got some foam in action there. Let's take out this glass weight. There we go. There you can see inside. Oh, you can hear it fizzing. Oh, isn't that neat? It's like pop. It smells fine. It actually smells good. Here we are. Wish me luck. It's a little bit sour, not as sour as sauerkraut, which I do love, by the way. A little crunchier like melon, but does it taste like melon? Let's do one other bite here. Okay, I don't think it tastes anything like melon, but I do think maybe it has a little bit of a cabbage flavor to it, and I do like cabbage, so it's not bad. It's something I can eat because I know it's good for me. Would it be something that I would want to snack on like ice cream? No, but you know, I think I could get used to this. We'll try one more. And you might wonder, do I taste the cinnamon flavor? No, maybe just a little hint. Not really. In fact, I think I probably like it maybe with 4 cinnamon sticks to give it a little bit more flavor. But it's not all that bad. Now I'm going to store this in the refrigerator. It will keep in the refrigerator for several weeks, and as long as it's cold in the refrigerator, it's not going to continue to ferment. Thanks to Anna from Fermented Homestead for getting me out of my comfort zone. I was so afraid of failure, but I had her support, and I have mastered, well, not mastered, okay, but I've taken one step to learn about fermenting and to add it to my skill bank along with canning and dehydrating. And here's my favorite way to cook butternut squash.